If you've ever been to the Johor Singapore Causeway early in the morning, you've probably seen it. A long, endless line of cars, buses, and motorcycles crawling forward like ants on a mission. People half asleep, holding coffee in one hand, passport in the other, shuffling toward immigration. It's not a holiday crowd. It's the Malaysian workforce heading into Singapore. And here's the thing. This isn't just a few hundred people. On a normal day, over 300,000 daily border crossings happen between Johor Bahru and Singapore. For many of them, Singapore is where the money is made, and Malaysia is where the money is spent. So why exactly do Malaysians willingly spend hours in traffic, put up with border jams, and sometimes work two jobs, one in Singapore, one back home, just to make this cross-border hustle possible? Let's break it down into 4 brutally honest reasons. And trust me, some of them might surprise you. First, currency and higher wages, the #1 magnet. Let's not pretend money talks. The Singapore dollar is one of the strongest currencies in the world. Right now, 1 Singapore dollar equals about 3.5 Malaysian ringgit. That means if a Singaporean and a Malaysian do the exact same job for 3,000 Singapore dollars a month, the Singaporean earns $3,000. But the Malaysian, when they bring that money back home, it's worth over 10,000 ringgit. To put it into perspective, a cleaner in Singapore can earn around 1,500 Singapore dollars a month. That's more than 5,000 ringgit, which is already higher than the average graduate salary in Malaysia. A nurse in Singapore can make $4,000 monthly, which converts to 13,000 ringgit. A Malaysian engineer in Johor might earn 4,000 to 5,000 ringgit, but if they work in Singapore, the same role could pay 12,000 to 15,000 ringgit equivalent. For many Malaysians, this difference is life-changing. It means they can buy a house faster, pay off debts quicker, and send their kids to better schools without taking on crazy loans. But here's the irony. Some Singaporeans actually cross the border the other way, to Johor, for cheaper groceries, petrol, and weekend fun. So while Malaysians go to Singapore to make money, Singaporeans come to Malaysia to spend it. 2 economies feeding off each other, each side laughing at the other's prices. Of course, there's a catch. Working in Singapore also means higher living costs if you stay there. Rent in Singapore can swallow half your salary. That's why many Malaysians choose to live in Johor and commute daily, saving money while earning in Singapore dollars. But commuting also means waking up at 4 a.m. and getting home at 9 p.m. Not exactly a glamorous lifestyle. #2, economic and government stability. Let's be honest, Singapore plays it safe. Its economy is stable. Its currency rarely drops like a stone. And its government, for better or worse, has a reputation for being efficient, strict, and relatively free from large-scale corruption scandals. For workers, that stability is gold. You know your salary will come on time. You know the rules won't suddenly change overnight. And you know if you sign a contract, the company has to honor it, or risk facing strict legal action. Now compare that to Malaysia. Over the years, Malaysia's economy has been through ups and downs, currency fluctuations, and political shakeups that have scared away investors. Just think about it. In 2013, the ringgit was around 2.5 to the Singapore dollar. Today, it's closer to 3.5. That's not a small drop. It's a pay cut for anyone earning in ringgit, but spending in Singapore. Singapore's stability isn't just political. It's also about long-term planning. They think 20 years ahead. While Malaysia sometimes gets caught up in political drama, Singapore is busy building the next business hub, port expansion, or tech park. The result? Companies, especially in finance, tech, and healthcare, prefer to set up in Singapore. And when companies go there, jobs go there too. For Malaysians looking for a secure paycheck and a predictable work environment, Singapore just feels like a safer bet. But here's the flip side. Singapore's system can feel too rigid for some. Rules are rules, and there's very little wiggle room. You might earn well, but you also play by the book. In Malaysia, things can be more flexible, but that flexibility comes with uncertainty. #3, fair and better opportunities. One thing Malaysians often notice about working in Singapore is this. Hard work actually gets rewarded. Promotions, raises, and opportunities tend to be based more on performance rather than who you know or what background you come from. Sure, no country is perfect, but Singapore is known for valuing meritocracy. If you're good at your job, you have a fair shot at moving up. In Malaysia, however, the job market is often shaped by factors like racial quotas, government policies, and networking circles. The Bumiputera quota system reserves around 55% to 60% of public university seats for Malays and certain indigenous groups, which often leaves high-scoring Chinese and Indian students struggling to secure admission. Even in property, Bumiputera buyers enjoy 7 to 10% discounts on new homes, meaning others pay thousands more for the exact same unit. It's no wonder some Malaysians look to Singapore, where the competition is tough, but at least the rules are the same for everyone. Many Malaysians, especially non-Bumiputera communities, feel their career growth is capped, regardless of talent or work ethic. For example, a Malaysian fresh graduate with an IT degree might start in Kuala Lumpur earning 2,800 ringgit. In Singapore, the same fresh grad could start at 3,500 Singapore dollar, about 12,000 ringgit, with a much clearer path to promotion if they perform well. And it's not just about salaries. Singapore offers structured training, defined career ladders, and access to international projects. A Malaysian who works in Singapore for 5 years often finds their resume far more attractive to global employers than if they stayed in Malaysia. The downside? Competition is fierce. Singapore attracts talent from everywhere: China, India, Europe. So Malaysians aren't just competing with Singaporeans, but with the whole world. If you're not constantly upgrading your skills, you can be replaced in a heartbeat. Number 4, infrastructure and safety. Let's talk about something that isn't always obvious until you experience it: the way a country feels to live and work in. Singapore is small, but it's extremely well connected. MRT trains run like clockwork, buses arrive on schedule, and even taxis are reliable. Roads are well maintained, and traffic, while not perfect, is far more predictable than in many Malaysian cities. And then there's safety. Singapore is one of the safest countries in the world. You can leave your phone on a cafe table, go to the restroom, and come back to find it still there. Try doing that in most cities. You'd be filing a police report. For Malaysians who are used to occasional power cuts, patchy internet, or roads full of potholes, Singapore's efficiency feels like a breath of fresh air. It's not just about convenience, it's about peace of mind. But ironically, many Malaysians say Singapore can feel too safe, almost sterile. In Malaysia, life might be a little messier, but it's also more relaxed. You don't get fined $500 for eating on a train or chewing gum. You can ride a motorcycle without fearing that someone will report you for parking slightly off the line. Infrastructure and safety come at a price: rules, surveillance, and high living costs. Some Malaysians love it, others find it suffocating. Here's the reality check. Working in Singapore isn't a fairy tale. Yes, the salaries are higher, the currency is stronger, and the streets are cleaner. But the daily grind is real, especially for those who commute from Malaysia. Imagine waking up before sunrise, crossing a congested border, working a full shift, and then crawling back through traffic at night. Do that 5 days a week, and it wears you down. Yet, despite the fatigue, thousands keep doing it, year after year. Why? Because at the end of the month, the bank account tells a different story. In the long run, those years of sacrifice can mean a house fully paid off, kids in better schools, or a retirement fund that's actually enough to retire on. Some even joke that working in Singapore while living in Malaysia is the ultimate life hack. Earn like a Singaporean, spend like a Malaysian. And in a way, that's the dream. So here's the question for you. If you had the chance to work in Singapore, with its higher pay, stricter rules, and relentless pace, would you take the leap? Or would you stay in Malaysia, where life is cheaper, slower, and perhaps a little more comfortable? One offers familiarity and ease, the other demands sacrifice but promises greater rewards. In the end, it's not just about where you work. It's about the life you want to build, the opportunities you're willing to chase, and how far you're ready to push yourself to get there. Now, what do you think? Do you agree with this video? Tell us what you think by leaving your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, and most importantly, subscribe to our channel for more interesting videos.